All right, good evening. I'm going to call the July 9th, 2024 rescheduling of the regular meeting of the town board to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Present.
Councilmember Delarada.
Here.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Here.
Councilmember Brennan.
Here.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Here. All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We wish to respectfully acknowledge that Niskayuna is on the traditional lands of the Kanikihaka and the Mahikanac peoples, past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the peoples who have stewarded this land throughout generations. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the April 30th, 2024 regular town board meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes from the April 30th regular meeting of the town board.
Thank you. Are there any changes to those minutes? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. May I have a second? Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thanks. All right, are there any changes? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those meeting minutes are approved. It's the second time I've done that. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the June 11th, 2024 special meeting of the town
Motion
board?
to approve the minutes from the June 11th special meeting of the town board.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
All right, are there any changes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Those meeting minutes are approved. All right, as I explained earlier, we have two ceremonial resolutions this evening, so we're going to go a little bit out of order, and we will start with resolution number 2024-171, sponsored by Councilmember De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A ceremonial resolution recognizing and honoring Kevin Walsh, Planning Board Chairman, for his exemplary work, dedication, and many years of service to the town of Niskayuna.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify. Oh, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. I would like to have Councilmember McPartlin come on up and read that resolution aloud and invite our previous chair of the planning board, Mr. Kevin Walsh, up to the podium.
Testing.
All right.
Honored to be the one reading this ceremonial resolution this evening. The supervisor contacted me today and asked if I would do this, and I said, absolutely. I served on the planning board with Chairman Walsh, whose dedicated service to this town is bar none the best. So I'm going to read the ceremonial resolution recognizing and honoring Kevin Walsh, Planning Board Chairman, for his exemplary work, dedication, and many years of service to the town of Niskayuna. The following resolution, offered by Councilmember Delarada, whose committee he chairs, be it enacted by the Town Board of Niskayuna as follows. Whereas Kevin Walsh was appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals by the Niskayuna Town Board on January 1, 1998. And whereas Kevin Walsh was appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission by the Niskayuna Town Board January 5th, 1999, and served continuously for over 25 years. Whereas Kevin Walsh was appointed chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission by the Niskayuna Town Board January 2nd, 2007, a position which he was appointed to continuously for the next 17 years. Kevin Walsh was appointed the chairperson of the 2003 Comprehensive Plan Committee and was instrumental in editing the 2013 Comprehensive Plan, investing his time in a document that provides an overarching vision for the future of this community and guides planning and decision-making towards that vision over the long term. And whereas Kevin Walsh had a wide reputation for always being willing to lend a helping hand, always being willing to meeting with an applicant, always willing to go the extra mile to find a solution that would work for everybody and all parties involved. His leadership at the planning board was steadfastly professional, respectful, trustworthy, and the planning board grew in a strong and competent board with Kevin Walsh at its helm. And whereas Kevin Walsh participated in and led many transformative developments in the town of Niskayuna, including, among countless projects, Windsor and Edison Woods subdivision, Hummingbird Manor, St. James Square ShopRite Plaza, Seneca Manor, Catherine Woods, Cerrone Paulson subdivision, Flower Hill, Ridge Manor, Fieldstone PUD, Upper Union Street improvements, GE improvements, Niskayuna Square, Hannaford, Hillside Avenue, and Commerce Park development. I'm not done yet, Kevin. There's a lot on here. Campo Court, Park Ridge, Harmon Grove, the Holocaust Memorial, E1 improvements, Momentum improvements, Kelts Farms PUD, and Knott Street / Town Center Overlay District improvements. And Kevin Walsh dedicated himself professionally to designing, building, and maintaining systems, structures, and technologies that improve the quality of life to all people, working at General Electric Global Research for 10 years and the Naval Nuclear Laboratory, CAPL, for 30 years, facilitating engineering and materials research on power distribution, transformer studies, electrostatic air cleaning, electrostatic powder coatings, and materials development, low pressure synthesis of diamond, and eventually overseeing important testing laboratory at CAPL. And Kevin Walsh used this strong professional work ethic, management experience, and technological knowledge to foster a positive and collaborative atmosphere at the planning board. And Kevin Walsh maintained his positive, we'll get through it attitude, even when meetings went late into the night and the stormwater calculations didn't add up. Even when the neighbors didn't get along and the traffic counts needed more analysis. And despite the toll it took, he would still dedicate himself each and every week to the work and put the time in to each and every meeting because of his deep love and commitment to the town of Niskayuna and its people. And Kevin Walsh, through his kind-heartedness and leadership, built a strong foundation and followed the town planner and planning department staff to flourish, and his decades of work and commitment will never be forgotten. In his capacity as zoning board, planning board chairman, Kevin Walsh treated property owners and applicants alike with kindness, respect, unfailingly demonstrated the kind excellence and service to the public that the town of Niskayuna strives for. Whereas Kevin Walsh served the people of the town of Niskayuna with honor and distinction, his knowledge and understanding of planning, zoning, engineering, and local law will be greatly missed. Now for be it resolved on this 27th day of June, now July 9th, the town of Niskayuna recognizes his service, his 26 years of service to the town. The Niskayuna Town Board offers its personal and official thanks and appreciation to the Planning Board and Zoning Commission Chairman Kevin A. Walsh, and hereby publicly honors him and commends him for his exemplary work, dedication, and many years of service to the town of Niskayuna. So now I'm going to turn this mic over to Kevin, who's very familiar with it, for a few words.
Yeah, but not under these circumstances. That's a bit much. I mean, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'd just like to recognize a couple of folks, or a few folks. It goes way back to when I first moved to Niskayuna in '95, and I was appointed to a board, first board in '98. So I was here less than 3 years, and been through many town boards. Thank you for this board for their support. And there's just too many town board members over that many years to recognize. But as far as supervisors go, I gotta say that the first one that appointed me was Kathleen D. Cataldo. She appointed me to the Zoning Board of Appeals and then to the Planning Board. And she didn't know me, and she took a risk on me. I told her, I'd be here to stay, and I took it seriously. So I think I did her justice by those appointments back in the late '90s. And then, of course, Luke Smith, God bless his soul. He appointed me as chairman for many years over and over again. Joe Landry, Yasmin Syed, and of course, Jamie Puccioni. And I appreciate support and allowing me to do my job over the years. And the other thing, of course, I'd like to say is the planning department, many years with the planning department and the different meetings, and started with Diane Sturmans, whose name is out on the board out here in the hallway, and then Richard Harris, who's now the planner over in the town of Half Moon, and then Kathy Matern for many, many years as chairman, and of course, Laura Robertson. And they're all great friends and, great work associates, and very important to me, and been like family the last several years especially. So thank you. Thank you, Laura, for working hard on this resolution. I know you did. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
We could have put more in there. Kevin. We could have put more.
I've never seen anybody get a gift, so this is a pretty good deal.
This wasn't even purchased. This was made with love from our office,
Wow.
from the
Thank
office
you.
of the supervisor.
It's an unexpected pleasure on top of, it's really over the top. I appreciate it.
You're over the top, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We only use the best.
Mr. Walsh? Kev, if I just may, I want to thank you personally. I know the town of Niskayuna it's really a big team. We're just kind of the managers up here. The real players in this town are the people like you that have come here day in and day out for literally decades, served on probably the most important committee, the committee that has the most direct influence on our day-to-day lives. You're in the Hall of Fame as far as players go. It's really unbelievable the work that you've done, the changes that you've made to this town, and the meaning that it has to all of us every day walking around on the streets, the connection pads in Flower Hill, the bike pads, the development on the riverfront. Everything all kind of goes back to the big players that the town of Niskayuna has, and Kevin Walsh is by far one of the biggest. So I want to thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. We will now move on to our next ceremonial resolution, which is resolution number 2024-170. Will the clerk please read?
A ceremonial resolution declaring June Pride Month.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. I would like to invite a member, one of the chairs of the Niskayuna Visibility Club, up to the podium so I can read this ceremonial resolution and just acknowledge the important role that they have played. Okay. So, upon becoming town supervisor every year, the members of the Niskayuna High School Visibility Club have held their June Pride event on the greens at Town Hall. And I would always look out from my office and, feel very proud that these young students were taking such leadership roles in their schools by being members of the Visibility Club, by being leaders of the Visibility Club, and also being leaders in the community. And this year, I wanted to do something more than watch from my window or attend their event. So I invited the members of the Visibility Club, the leadership, to meet with me and Chief Koshin to talk about how we might help support their event this year. And through those conversations, we decided that one of the first things we would do was raise the pride flag at their event, which we did on June 21st. And it was a really powerful and meaningful event for me, and I hope for the Visibility Club as well. And we also decided to put forward a resolution to name June as Pride Month, to acknowledge June as Pride Month in the town of Niskayuna. So I'd like to read that resolution. And this is for the Visibility Club.
No, thank you.
Thank you. So the following resolution was offered by Supervisor Puccioni, who moved its adoption, and seconded by Jessica Brennan. Okay. Be it enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Niskayuna as follows. Whereas the Town Board of Niskayuna welcomes and encourages diversity and inclusion within our community. Whereas celebrating Pride Month raises awareness and provides support and advocacy for the LGBTQ+ community and is an opportunity to become educated, strengthen alliances, and build understanding, engage in dialogue to promote a healthy, safe, and prosperous climate for all of our community. And whereas, while there has been remarkable progress towards acceptance and equality, members of the LGBTQ+ community continue to face discrimination, intolerance, and hate. Whereas, we must commit to supporting and accepting LGBTQ+ individuals, in particular our youth, who compared to their peers are far more likely to experience violence and bullying at school, to suffer from depression, to struggle with substance abuse, and to have attempted suicide. And whereas we must remain vigilant in deterring oppression and discrimination against people on the basis of sex, gender identity or expression, or sexual orientation. And whereas by protecting the rights of every individual, we enhance and strengthen the value of everyone throughout our entire society. And whereas we affirm our support for LGBTQ+ residents in our community, and that includes our youth, and stand with them to protect their civil rights and their ability to live openly, equally, and without fear. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this July 9th of 2024, the board recognizes and supports the month of June 2024 as LGBTQ+ Pride Month, and we urge all residents to celebrate and build a culture of inclusiveness and acceptance during this month and every month. Thanks, Viv. Would you like to say a few words? Okay. So this is one of the chairs. This is Viv, and we have made a great working relationship, and our plan is to continue to develop ways for our members of our community who identify as LGBTQ+ to work with our DEI advisory committee and to help us grow as a community and offer additional programming and just continue to be the inclusive and welcoming community that we are. So thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for those ceremonial resolutions. We will now have a presentation from our Niskayuna Town Logo Work Group, who is chaired by Marie Bozeman, and she is joined by members of the committee. So we'll let you go ahead and get set up.
Good evening to the town board and members of the community present, and especially to members of the work group here present. Thank you for coming. This is a presentation to the town board about the final design recommendation for the redesign of the Niskayuna town logo. On the agenda tonight, we thought to provide you with a little bit more background so that you understand how high quality it is, I think, the product that we're delivering tonight for you. So the agenda will include a process overview, a summary of the tasks completed by this work group, the actual professional design work that happened in 2024, design delivery, and then next steps, we'll do a round of thanks, and there will be time for discussion if necessary. Process overview. The first phase of this process was an informal discovery period. It really started in 2018 when former town historian Dennis Brennan uncovered an error in the logo that we have been using, specifically an erroneous depiction of Indigenous culture in the then current logo. So in 2021, some small group discussions started happening on the need for change. We developed an anthropological foundation for contributing to positive change through community action. And we worked on initial artistic development with the new Niskayuna High School Art Department. In 2022, we moved into a formal resolution phase of this work. In April 2022, it was decided to align the logo redesign with the Economic Development, Historic Preservation, and Environmental Conservation Committee. And on May 24, 2022, Resolution 2022-144 was formally adopted to form a work group to review and potentially redesign the town logo. The process continued later in 2022 with the work group formation. We put together a group of people. We added another member in July. We had the first meeting in June of 2022. And during the period until the end of that year, we conducted extensive internal education, reading, having conversations with Indigenous people. We did some studies. We did online searches about a variety of topics and people. We developed design principles, not a design, but the principles by which we want to work on this, working through a professional process with one of our workgroup members who is a professional graphic artist. And we outlined the process and the potential timeline on how to reach this final design recommendation. The next phase then was community outreach. We decided that while we have certain ideas and we educated ourselves, this is a community project and it is change that should behoove the community and should also then be liked by them and wanted by them and sort of dictated also by them what should go on in there. So in from January through April in 2024, we developed community survey questions based on what we learned in our own education and also developed an outreach plan of action for that summer. And from May through September 2023, we conducted the community survey. We used the formal survey with 5 questions. I reported to the town board on that, where we did that in person and online. We covered Niska Day, the Eddy, farmers markets, QR codes were posted, and we received about 5,000 votes from about 500 individuals and about 200 comments. We, in October of that year, processed all the data meticulously into workable guidelines and principles. That took us, with this anthropological foundation, the design goals, and community data in hand. We developed a formal request for proposal with help from another member of the work group, John Lemlin, who is very professional in this regard, and also with the help of Laura here at the town and the town attorney, to develop a process, to develop the RFP, to issue the RFP. And from the viable submissions, we made a final selection through a extensive quantitative and qualitative decision-making process. The contract with the design group, Cinder Design, was signed in January 2024, and the work started in February. More about the design work in a little bit. I just want to point out a high-level summary of all the tasks that was going on during this process. We made extensive Indigenous connections, ongoing discussions with members of the Indigenous communities, community outreach, as mentioned through the survey, but also through ongoing conversations in the community. We had regular work group meetings, 22 in total to date. We focused on ongoing education as well as constant fact-checking. Our data processing that we did about the questionnaires, both with the group and with the community, we tried to do that with a lot of integrity. We did regular updates to this town board on the process. We wanted to keep you in the loop so that hopefully you like what we're bringing here tonight. We did also handled some media outreach and media inquiries, including local town paper, Gazette, Times Union, and local television stations. So just to give you another quick overview of the design work, this was led by professional designers from Cinder Design. That it included 4 phases, which they laid out for us. 3 phases are complete. The discovery and planning happened in January and February. We had a kickoff meeting. We reviewed all the work the work group did to that point, and the designers brought us visual directions to think about based on all of the information they received from us. The second phase is called design ideation. That's a really interesting word for just millions of ideas. But basically, they came to us with 52 design concepts. We chose 3 directions from there, which they came back to us with another 12 design concepts based on the 3 directions. And from there, we chose the final concept, not design, concept. We moved into design refining. The final concept, we received 4 design versions of this concept. We chose the final elements from these final versions. We refined the fonts, and from 8 different color combinations, we picked one direction, and they gave us 6 more options within that direction, and we found one. So with that, we're at the 4th phase of the design work, and the final phase really of this work group. The final phase includes design delivery and then implementation. So we have arrived at the start of the design delivery with this final recommendation. So without further ado, I would like to present to you our recommended design for a new Niskayuna town logo. The attributes that sit behind this logo, these all come from community survey, and all the background work include dependable, proud, forward-looking, confident, optimistic, inspirational, embracing, nurturing, welcoming, and friendly. Next slide is the same logo in black and white. Next slide. The overall themes of this logo include nature, optimism, friendly and approachable, and accurate. So nature is one big part of the community feedback that they love about Niskayuna, is the big part nature plays in our physical environment and how we enjoy our environment and what we do when we're not at home, and even in our gardens. We love living here. Optimism is important. We look forward. We're positive about the future. There's a sense of moving forward and hope for the future in this logo. The logo and its coloring and its design is meant to be friendly and approachable, reflecting a sense of warmth and community. We feel it's an accurate representation of Niskayuna's roots, and it is more respectful and accurate than our previous logo. The colors include purple, green, and blue. The purple was chosen from the 2-row wampum belt as a color that also expresses friendliness and is a uniting color. Green is part of nature. The trees are green, and in the background is blue for the sky and the river. And these shades were selected to be friendly, welcoming, fresh, and approachable. The symbolism inside of this logo, there are 5 elements: the heron, the white pine, water, wampum stripes, and circle. On the symbolism, I wanted to provide some details as this is very important to us. The heron embodies wisdom, patience, and good judgment in Native American lore. The Haudenosaunee felt that the sight of a heron before a hunt was a very good omen for success. The heron, as you can see, is leaning, it's flying, and it's pointing to the right to symbolize forward movement. There's a connection to the river from this heron. Many people have seen herons while spending time on and around the river. And on a side note, and maybe a little bit of a deeper level, this initiative in itself to redesign the town's logo is a perfect example of what the heron symbolizes: wisdom, good judgment, leadership for our town and also for other communities who may learn from this. The second symbol is the white pine, considered the tree of life. It's a symbol of peace. The tree is an example of how the Haudenosaunee live their lives and conduct themselves. We're all connected. We protect each other for everyone's benefit. It's a symbol of 5 nations coming together as the Iroquois Confederacy. It is also a strong link to the community of growing together. The third element, water, is a representation of the Mohawk River, which is the side border of our town. River and nature is very important to the community, as mentioned. The water is represented, as you can see, as smooth, less turbulent waves, symbolizing a more gentle and calming flow, the way in which we as a community would like to live together. And then the wampum stripes, which you see in the circular outside part. Can you just go back, please, to the previous? Thank you. The wampum stripes, they symbolize a connection to the 2-row wampum belt. The wampum belt symbolizes respect, friendship, and a shared future between Dutch and Haudenosaunee, traveling down the river of life together. The belt is a living treaty reminding us to live together in peace alongside each other, even if we have differences, and even if we cannot come together, we still live alongside each other in peace. And then finally, the circular shape has the meaning of being united and being connected. And the heron breaking out of the inner circle symbolizes confidence and change. On the next few slides, you'll see a few mock-ups. These are really just suggestions for your imagination to see how this could play out. We are not saying this is how we should do this, but it is interesting to see how the different colors and the different ways of presenting it could maybe show up in our community. So there's a flag, engraving on glass, our town vehicles, maybe a t-shirt, a beanie, a mug. Perhaps we want to use some of the colors on our website. Again, just a suggestion from our end, trying to see how this could play out. In summary, we recommend, as a work group, we recommend this logo as it meets the learnings from Indigenous peoples we talk to. It conforms to the design goals we formulated, and it is in line with input from our community. It is a truly unique, fresh, and professional representation of our shared past, our lives today, and the future we are building for our children. Yes. Next steps in this process, we believe, involve the following: a resolution to adopt the logo, perhaps at the July 23 meeting, and then the process of introducing to the Niskayuna community and developing usage policy and procedures, perhaps with the help of our newly hired PR communications firm, and then, of course, implementation, which those are longer term processes, and then education on what this means, and perhaps also how other towns can use this process to do this kind of work. To conclude this, and thank you that you're still listening, if you are, a round of thanks. Many people have worked really hard and long on this process. I have to say, it really was always a lot of fun. So expressing my sincere thanks to, first of all, the Niskayuna Town Logo Work Group, Dennis Brennan, David Amadio, John Lemelin, Jennifer Wilkerson, Jocelyn McKinney, and myself for tirelessly attending so many meetings and for being positive and productive and joyful throughout the whole process. Thank you. We have additional contributors, Kay Olin, a member of the Mohawk Nation, and Denise Watso, member of the Abenaki Nation. They provided their time and input, knowledge, and feelings through multiple rounds of conversations, including supporting the final design. Jason Moskowitz, member here, thank you very much for joining us in the design phase. Thank you for your unique and original viewpoints, which you provided. Thank you for jumping into the process, not questioning what we did up to that point. We appreciate your presence there. It was very valuable. And then Jane Rom is a teacher at Niskayuna High School at the Art and Design Department, and she and her students were early on involved in the process, and we sincerely thank them. Cinder Design, I cannot say enough about them. They, Christina Sharp and Michael Rivet, are extremely professional. They're experts in this process, not only with well, I shouldn't say not only. They're experts in running a good process. They're expert in being artists and also in combining ideas that are other people's ideas into art and something visible and something meaningful. It was the utmost pleasure that we worked with them, and we thank them for their collaborative approach. They never dictated, which was very meaningful to us. And they guided us all from where the sky was the limit to where we stand united behind one design. Last but definitely not the least, very important, thank you to the Niskayuna town leadership. We thank the town leadership for their faith in this process, in the people who serve on this work group, and for giving us the opportunity to present this fresh, modern, community-based image to represent and inspire our town. Thank you to Jamie Puccioni, Town Supervisor, for your support and for being part of this before you became Town Supervisor in those conversations. Very valuable. We appreciate that. Thank you to all the board members. Thank you to your supervisor for their support in helping us with logistics. Thank you to Denise for legal work, Laura Robinson from the HBEC committee for her help, especially in the RFP process. And thank you to the Niskayuna Farmers Market organizers. We believe this new logo, collaboration, is how we make progress in Niskayuna. Thank you. Are there any questions or discussion?
I will start. I'm speechless. As a researcher, listening to the process that the group undertook, it was phenomenal. The engagement, the data collection, the analysis, the work with the town employees, the town board members, the design team. I think it just speaks to the final product, which I find inspirational and stunning. When I see herons flying through the sky, I always stop. Even I'm driving, I'm like, there's a heron. I love them. They are a symbol of wisdom and leadership and beauty. And it's always an honor to see one flying through town or perched on the river when I'm running or riding my bike. It's just incredible. And I think it's beautiful. And I am also so thankful for you and the members former town historian Dennis Brennan for bringing this to the attention of the town. Initial conversations with me when I was a member of the Racial Equity and Social Justice Task Force. He was passionate and informative. And I think this work group together really put forward a new logo that is incredibly representative of the ideals that our town represents. And as evidenced by the research the group conducted. So I want to thank you. I think it's absolutely stunning.
I'm glad you like it.
I can say I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by everything you said. It was a lot to take in. And every time you said one of the symbolisms or representations, I wanted to stop and think about that, but you had already said 3 more. And I was like, wait, this is amazing. I'd love to see it in writing because my brain needs to process all of this. But thank you very much for explaining every piece of that. It was really overwhelming, but in a good way.
Oh, in a good way. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank
It was great to see the heron. I've never, we see them on the Mohawk River, but I've never associated the town with that. And seeing that it is encouraging. It does give you a sense of optimism. And it does bring you back to the Mohawk River, which is a great asset and part of the town of Niskayuna. So I love that. Thank you.
I want to also thank you and everyone on your committee. Beautiful job, beautiful work. And by your explanation of how you went through the process and everything that you and everyone on your committee did, just speaks volumes to how much effort goes into something. When people want to look at that, they won't understand that. But with you explaining it and with us being educated to that, it's hopeful that we can also then educate others in the community to all those things that the logo would represent. So thank you. Thank you all for your hard work.
It's our pleasure.
I would also just like to thank the work group for all the work that went into this. It was a pleasure to join the work group about halfway through, or maybe a little bit more than halfway through the work that we did. But seeing the amount of dedication and thoughtfulness and community outreach that went into this was pretty impressive. For a group of volunteers to spend all these hours to come up with this final design was impressive. I think at one point we started with 52 or 57 designs.
Yeah.
We narrowed it down to 20, 25 maybe, down to 3, and now to our final product. So it was amazing to watch and be a part of, and thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Jason. It was fun to have you there.
Thank you.
It was our goal to have a story also that can be told. It should be good to look at and representative of our town, but if there's a story inside of there. So we hope to have materials ready so that we can all tell the story. And even if we can just tell a piece of it, there's always something to tell, and it's a good story.
Our office would love to work with the committee, the work group, to be able to disseminate the story to the public, as you mentioned. So our office is here to facilitate and support that effort.
Thank you.
And also move this forward through resolution and then think through implementation. So we were discussing Tuesday morning in a departmental meeting about the next steps. So we are in support and ready and excited to move forward.
Yeah, we want to make our meetings up to 30 maybe, so we're only at 22. So let's go. Thank you very much for the support. That is much appreciated, but really it's not so much about that. Then you should like what you see, and we appreciate the feedback. I don't know what the process is, but this is our final design. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone for being patient. I know there are residents here who are here to speak for privilege of the floor. So thank you for your patience. We will now move into our privilege of the floor. So the floor will be open for residents. And if there are any residents who were not able to sign up, you are of course welcome to speak. And we just would like to remind you to please be respectful of our 3-minute recommended time.
So for my list, Joe Yekel, I don't think he's here. Then there was Beth Jacobs.
So I don't want to make this too personal, but the Native American thing, again, I don't necessarily look at, but my father, I'm Iranian, Assyrian, Persian, and it touches on me. I'm a little Native American, but being a woman, you can't trace it that easily. And I have more than one incident with people doing a double take after meeting me and then meeting my father, where the bloodline comes down. So I might suggest that you don't keep it so positive, because we're not living in peace alongside First Nations. We eradicated 90% of the First Nations. So they didn't have a choice. And they were eradicated so that so Europeans could take this land. And if you really mean business, you might put a bid out to one of the First Nations. I'm assuming you take bids to do your contracting around here. And I'm sure you all know that Native Americans did a lot of work in building buildings across New York State. So all of that aside, I'm coming forward to, again, discuss the water issue. And I'm going to mention that out and about walking my dog and talking with various people, again, rich people in this community are not really going to be affected by these water changes, but who's going to be affected? The Black, the brown, and women. And I've heard tell of 2 stories. One woman who, while her husband was on her deathbed, the water department went in and went over her plumbing, and whether or not it was seen by the water department to be nice, I believe that's taking advantage. And another woman who could not outright pay her bill, senior citizen, and the maintenance worker who takes care of her property paid the $500 water bill, and she's paying it back $50 a month. So you still think these water rates are vital? You have them in the slide. Well, they're vital. They're after oxygen. And I tell you, I don't know if I've ever seen a white pine in Niskayuna. When you raise these water rates, who are you hurting? If there are any Native Americans in Niskayuna, I'm like I don't know, 1/16, 1/8 myself. People of color and women are the majority of the people who are not going to be able to pay these water bills, who may decide to cut back on water and go to sleep one night dehydrated and not wake up in the morning. Thank you.
Linda Rizzo. This was the list from last time, and this is the meeting. Okay. Okay. Dana, is Dana here? It would be Dana and then your last person here.
Hi, Linda Rizzo, 2229 Fairlawn Parkway. I'm here to address the water issue. Again, I want to reiterate that about 5 weeks ago, I spoke with Joe Landry, and we discussed his outgoing budget when he left at the end of 2017. And it was inherited by Yasmin in 2018, and he said there was absolutely no deficit in any area. And the Water and Sewer Department had a huge fund balance. I had the opportunity of visiting with Yasmin Syed on June 24th, and we had a discussion, and she was in Niskayuna, and she also stated there was no deficit when she left. So we have members of the community, they're not all here tonight, but I'm sure you will be seeing them on June 23rd, who question this and do not understand it. We also, have mentioned that John De La Rada and Jason Moskowitz has said that they would not have ever voted for this. They were told it was $64 every 6 months, not $500, $400 for people. And we do appreciate the attempts that Jason Moskowitz has made to rectify it. And we're looking forward to his, excuse me, to his continuing the rectifying of this on behalf of the residents, because he seems to be the only one that's willing to do this. Also, the case that nothing can be changed, as Bill McPartland said, because people paid. Well, there's a vocabulary word called prorate that can be easily done. It doesn't matter if people have already paid. That is not an excuse to not do something about it. You can look it up in the dictionary. The comptroller can prorate this matter if you decide to change it. So there is a concern. This isn't going to go away. Residents are still very much concerned. And as I said, not everyone could be here tonight because of vacation time, but I do hope that something is done about it, because I see you have on your resolution trying to encourage people to buy electric vehicles. Well, they cost about $60,000 to $70,000. How do you expect people to buy these vehicles with high taxes, proposed raises for you guys, high utility fees, fees going up? And also, may I add, New York State is not equipped for electric vehicles. They have very few charging stations on the thruway. In fact, there's hardly any throughout the country. That's 1 in 5 aren't working, according to the latest statistics. Anyway, I do hope that this is resolved. And again, we appreciate the efforts of Jason Moskowitz for the amendment. And I know the time is running out. And I also want to mention, this is a symbol of what you think of the residents and not wanting to hear from them. This speaks louder than words. Keep that in mind. You're sending a message, and this is almost louder than your utility bill and your wishes to get a raise with the taxpayers' money. Have a wonderful evening.
I have no one left on my list.
Good evening. My name's Haney Santana, 815 Frottingham Drive. One of the things that I wanted to say concerning the water bill is that if people can't pay or are late, what are you going to do to them? I'm asking the board right now, what are you going to do to people that are late and cannot pay? Have you devised any type of payment plan? So many per month, like free payments, but you really haven't considered a lot of things with this water bill. And you always like to blame the past administration, which is absolutely false. The problem is your problem. Your controller did a bad job. When we looked at the information, we found that in 2023, there was an error with transferring from Sewer District 1 to 6 that created this whole mess. And to me, when I look at you, I see a lynch mob. You hate us. You want to hang us out to dry. You are a lynch mob to the seniors, to blacks, to Hispanics, to the children, to the low-income people. You don't give you don't care about them. And that sitting here, smiling, smirking, you really do a disservice to everyone in this town that works every day, to the working class person. Supervisor, I'm sorry that you're looking around. I'm looking at you and I'm asking you, what are you going to do to help us? What are you going to do to stop what's going on? Jason, even though he voted for it, he tried to fix it. What are you doing? What are the rest of you trying to do? Are you trying to fix it, or are you trying to keep hurting us? Now, you got to remember, this bill is coming every 6 months. You're not going to get reelected. I'm going to do everything in my power to unelect each and every one of you, because you are a lynch mob. You hate the residents of this community. And you see, Supervisor, I don't need 3 minutes to tell you what I think, but I did hear a rumor. I'm going to ask you point blank. They said you're not running because you're afraid because of the water bill. Is that true? Are you not running? Excuse me? You sit down. You go someplace. Your husband should stop. Is that your husband?
Ma'am, this isn't a question and answer time, so
I'm just asking. He's telling me he's talking back over there, so I'm just asking a question.
this is not a question and answer time.
Jessica, please stop. Just stop. Supervisor, are
I'm letting you
running?
know that this is not appropriate. If you'd like to keep giving us comments, we're happy to hear them,
Okay,
but
my
we're not
comment
answering
is
questions.
about the water bill, and I don't like her family members yelling at me and being a heckler. So why don't you address that, Jessica? There you go.
My name is Stephen Zakis, back again talking about my least favorite subject, the water bill. I think we all are still just fed up to here with the board. I don't know if the town board has had any opportunity or if you've had any further discussions about this since it went out. My take, probably not. Overall, I think the town hasn't given any additional thoughts or options, to ease the burden, not only on the residents, the businesses, and the organizations of this town. I noticed the Orlo closed. I'm not sure. I know they use a lot of water over there when they do hair. I'm not sure if that was one of the reasons behind their recent closing. Many businesses here, you're hearing, go online. There's a lot of these things on Facebook now. Businesses, $500 before, $2,500 now. You're putting businesses out of business, basically small businesses out of business in Niskayuna. I don't know where you're going to continue to get your tax revenue from. Has the town considered, keeping this current bill? 3 months when the next bill comes out, we're not any better off. That's the problem we're facing right now. You delayed it, but we're still not going to be better off in 3 months from now. We're going to get the same large bill. Go back to the old billing system. Get an actuary in here, run different models, learn how to phase the billing structure in. Has anything been considered to ease the financial burden for every resident, business, and organization in this community? You're killing us. Bottom line is you're beating us up. I don't plan on paying my bill this month. I'm going to let it roll. I'm going to have to let it roll over to the property tax bill. And then I'll give it to my accountant and then write it off that way. Because you took it off the property tax bill initially. The other thing I have to say is that the previous slides we saw, Sewer District 1, which I'm in, showed we were in the black every year. If I was in Sewer District 6, my bill would be $100 less now but I'm in Sewer District 1, I'm paying $100 more. I'm 486, basically a single person. My daughter is away at school during the winter months. She only comes home once a month, and my other son comes home. And I'm supposedly averaging 220 gallons of water a day. I don't know how, considering I'm in the office 3 days a week. So I don't know the whole process and the billing. The town has a $5 million reserve fund. Why don't you take that money and start to help out the residents of this town and start funneling that money to the water bill? I want to also know, which no one has answered, with the new rates, what is the estimated revenues estimated to be collected in Sewer District 1? We were in the black every year, pretty much. Sewer District 6 was in the red, $250,000. The water was in a red pretty much every year for $250,000. I understand we all share the same water. We all have the same billing rate. It's the Sewer District rates, which I don't understand. And I don't want to hear, well, you're part of Schenectady. The bottom line is you need to either even this out and make it even more fair for everybody in the whole area. I really want to know the estimated revenues expected to be collected in Sewer District 1, the revenues expected in Sewer District 6. I want to make sure Sewer District 1 is not helping to offset the losses in 6. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here who'd like to speak? Okay, great. So as we have explained for several months, for over a year, the town was under collecting year over year, going into the red and leaving the town in an untenable financial position. The fund balance was used. Oh, please don't leave yet. I'm going to answer some of your questions. Don't you want to hear the answers? Oh, that is just rich. Excuse me, this is not time for that. Take it outside if you're going to be chatting in the meeting. Take it outside. Take it outside. Thank you very much. No, thank you. I plan to answer several of those questions, but clearly some of those people aren't really interested in the answers. But I'll make sure to answer yours too, because we've talked about them over the phone many times, so I'll explain those answers again for you. Okay? The amount of revenue coming in from collection of utility billing could not cover the regular operations and maintenance costs. Never mind any unexpected repairs or equipment upgrades. Our town board meeting had to be canceled 2 weeks ago because of a water main break in front of town hall. We have aging infrastructure. This is further evidence of the need for us to make sure our rates are appropriate. We're taking in the amount to cover maintenance and operations, and we're saving our fund balance for infrastructure upgrades and necessary repairs in emergency situations and long term. The reality is our utility funds should be budget neutral. They have not been. Rates should actually reflect the cost to provide the services. I am very happy to share that the revenues we are taking in are aligned with the expenses, meaning they are budget neutral. It's the first time in years. No, you cannot. This is not a question and answer time, sir. You can call me and we can talk like we have done in the past. We are not having a back and forth. We are not having a back and forth. We are not having a back and forth. I look forward to it. Now, Jason, you did not attempt to fix the problem. You attempted to modify a resolution in an improper manner, and you didn't even talk to any of the board members prior to doing so. You didn't speak to the town comptroller. You didn't speak to Superintendent Matt Yetto. You didn't speak to the town attorney. You didn't try to fix the problem, because if you had tried to fix it, you would have called us and said, let's sit down and meet and discuss. And you didn't do that.
I did the day the bills came out and got no response.
You did not. In fact, you told Aaron Cassidy Doran that you tried to call me. There is no record of you trying to call me in any of my phone logs, my personal cell phone or my work phone. And you have my phone number. You could text and call me anytime you want. There's no excuse. If you really wanted to communicate with me about it, you could have.
It was an email I sent, and I'll re-forward it tomorrow morning.
There was no attempt to really do any actual work.
I got no communication either myself.
Now, this is all a concerted attempt to try to attack me, as evidenced by the question, are you going to run again? I am considering that, absolutely. I have 2 jobs. I work as a professor and I work as town supervisor. So every single day I have to evaluate, are the costs of being town supervisor outweighing? So yes, I do evaluate that every day, but I can guarantee you, I'm not afraid of you or anyone else who wants to run against me or any other of your Republican operatives who are making plans to attack me.
This right now sounds like an attack on me, and I suggest we get back to our agenda and town business that we have to handle tonight.
And I will.
Thank you.
Now, as mentioned earlier, there was a question about What happens if people can't pay their bill? Councilmember Moskowitz explained that answer in the past. Why don't you go ahead and explain it again for the public?
The due date was pushed out to July 19th. Those who aren't able to pay by that date will have the water bill levied on their 2025 property tax bill.
And is it legal for individuals to write off that amount on their taxes?
I don't believe so, and that's why we made the change that we did from removing it from the tax bill.
And those community members who have excessive bills and high water usage, what have been the reasons for that primarily?
This is clearly an attack on me, Supervisor.
Well,
I am
you're the
not one of
chair
your
of Water and
supervisor,
Sewer Department, so I want to hear
and
you
we can
speak to
discuss
it.
it at a committee meeting. I am not one of your students. I'm not going to be quizzed. We can discuss this at a committee meeting in a public setting. As we've said, town board meetings are not the appropriate time or place for a question and answer session.
They are among the board members.
Well, I will refrain from discussing it, and we can discuss it at a committee meeting where these topics are discussed.
Okay, well, let's make sure you attend your committee meetings because you've missed 30% of them
I have missed 2 meetings in the
Out
3
of
years that I've been
6.
on this board.
out of 6. 2 out of 6. Okay, thank you. Yes, we'll now move on to committee reports.
I'll start off with Police and Public Safety Committee. We met on June 6th at 3:30. Under operations, we discussed our towing RFP, which is ongoing. We talked about our dangerous dog contract with Montgomery County SPCA. We're very excited for this. This will be our backup plan if the local APF is full, and that's going to be up for a resolution tonight. We talked about cameras and license plate readers that are going to be purchased with the LE Tech grant through DCJS. That will just kind of give our police department more ability to have traffic control and keep people safe and kind of follow up on citizen concerns. For building, we wanted to thank Ray Smith for initializing that fence that was put up for our police department. And that was a recommendation by Homeland Security for everyone's safety. So we're very thankful to him for doing that. Under training, we're completing training units on anti-bias policing and the LGBTQ community through Police One Academy. That's ongoing. Officer Mario Colira will be attending field training officer course at Zone 5 Regional Law Enforcement Academy. Actually, he did that already on the 4th and the 6th. Or the 4th and the 7th, through the 7th, sorry. This was from last month. Sergeant Henry will be instructing cultural diversity, bias-related incident, and sexual harassment training at the Zone 5 Regional Law Enforcement Academy on August 12th. Sergeant Party will be instructing use of force and deadly physical force at the Zone 5 Regional Law Enforcement Academy on July 24th through 25th. For town events, we have our Coffee with the Cop at the Senior Center. Chief Koshin is continuing to host on the 3rd Tuesdays of the month. And Target was also a location for our Coffee with the Cop. And that was Sergeant Relation who organized that and was there on the 21st from 12 to 2. Our Niskayuna Police Department, along with Supervisor Puccioni, supported the Niskayuna Pride event at Town Hall on 6/21. The Pride flag was raised, and the Visibility Club from the high school was there. There were speeches, artists, vendors, and it was a lovely event for our youth to feel supported. So thank you for doing that. For school district news, we are still looking at the school speed zones, especially at Zenner and Rosendale. We're continuing to utilize our bus arm stop program with great success. And we're running numbers on that now for our next meeting to share that with everyone. For other, we have the Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant. That's a $4,676.88 grant. We started the application process for that, and that's on for resolution as well. And so we have our dangerous dog contract and the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant on for resolution tonight. And our next committee meeting was this is so backwards because we skipped a meeting, but it was tonight at 5:45. And that's the committee report.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to water, sewer, and engineering.
The Water, Sewer, and Engineering Committee last month met on June 5th. And as always, I'll begin my report this evening with an update on the organic waste project at our wastewater treatment plant. We recently received feedback from DEC on our application for the acceptance of materials other than fogs or fats, oils, and greases. And we're working with DEC on adjusting our permit so we can begin to accept brewery, winery, and beverage waste. While that process is underway, ESG, who negotiates or finds contracts on our behalf, continues to search for those contracts. Superintendent of Water and Sewer Matt Yetto provided the committee last month with an update on the state mandated lead pipe inventory. Our student intern is currently working on looking at maps and drawings and attempting to locate as much lead throughout the town as possible. And if spot excavating is needed, that'll be done at a later time. In the coming weeks, we'll be sending notices to town residents through the mail with some information on how to identify lead pipes that may be present in your home and how to report those findings to the town. And again, as I reported a few months ago, this project is mandatory and must be completed by November. Last month, or 2 months ago now, at the Maytown Board meeting, I reported that our annual water quality report had been submitted to the Department of Health. And for anyone who may be interested in reviewing that report, it is now on the town's website. Regarding utility billing, I also reported back in May that bills originally sent in April had been reprinted and mailed to homeowners along with a letter explaining the recent changes in rates and billing structure. Since those duplicate bills were mailed, the receiver of taxes has taken in hundreds of double payments from residents who thought that this duplicate bill was an additional bill and have now paid the same amount twice. The receiver of taxes and her deputies have been sending those payments back as they're received, but it's very important to note that the duplicate bills that were mailed were actually duplicates with an explanation of the changes, and payment is not required twice. For residents who are unsure as to whether or not they have paid, the receiver of taxes asks that you contact her office before sending payment. And for those who have not paid yet, and I guess this is the answer to my quiz question, those payments are due on or before July 19th, and any remaining balance at the end of the year will be levied on next year's tax bills.
Well done.
Thank you. On the agenda this evening, we have a resolution regarding a standard easement agreement, the installation of a water service line at River Road Park, the hiring of an engineer tech, and the authorization of the first quarter utility rent warrant, and also a contract for generator maintenance at the wastewater treatment plant. Our committee meets on the first Wednesday of every month, and our next meeting will be in August.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Highway, Parks, and Recreation.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. We met on June 6th. Highway Parks is reported to the committee by Ray Smith. Ray, as he indicated earlier this evening in our agenda meeting, still has 2 vacancies in parks. Hopefully, we will have an agenda item to fill one of those vacancies. Parks crews continue to mowing, keeping up with the various parks and various duties that they have to. As you saw earlier this evening, we've got a resolution for a truck purchase. This is a budgeted purchase, which is on a mini bid, which took quite a long time for us to get. Also, the highway department has some items for surplus that they want to sell. They do this at specific times during the year to get the most value for the items that they are surplusing. So towards the summer, end of the summer, if we've got trucks with plows or equipment like that, we try to surplus that because it brings the highest dollars to us. Yard waste pickups going very well. Ray reported that it's been an exceptional year. We're not sure why, but we're picking up a lot more yard waste than we have in the past. We use Labor Ready for some of our services for picking up the yard waste, and we've also put on another truck with our own employees to keep up with that. Just a reminder to the residents, please follow the rules about the size of the receptacles you put them in and bundling of the brush and all the other associated things. Paving crews, our first round of paving has been completed. Our second round of paving which I would report on the July, but since we've had that meeting, I'm just going to give you a list of where that is going to be: Shannon Boulevard, Macaulay Lane, Algonquin Road, Cayuga, Mohegan, just so people have a general idea. We post to everyone in the neighborhood so that they're aware. We contact the residents in those areas so they're aware. We don't know exactly when it's going to happen. A lot of that is weather dependent, but we try to get the residents as much notice as possible. Other items that we spoke about were the River Road parking lot work is going well. We're going to also be ordering some tables and benches for that park. All this is with grant money. Okay. Basketball hoops at Blatnick Park, that was discussed. We've got some basketball hoops that we'll be installing at Blatnick Park. Ray is trying to work that into his schedule best that he can, so hopefully that'll be occurring soon. We also got a grant for some electric tools that the highway department is now going to implement using some electric tools, brush cutters maybe, or smaller hand tools that they might be able to use, or I'm not sure exactly which ones. Ray's picking them actually when he's being very, we don't want to just get an electric tool and have it really not work for the purposes that we need it for. So we're going to evaluate what tools we think that we can use in the highway department and the parks department, put those to work and see if that's going to fulfill our needs. Next part of the meeting is recreation and community programs. Lori Peretti. As everyone knows, the town pool is opening. That's going very well. Splash pad is open at Blatnick Park. That's getting also a lot of use, especially on these hot days. We had an International Yoga Day free session here at Town Hall, June 21st. That was very well attended. Schenectady County Arts and Cultural Grant awarded $2,500. This is for the free concerts that we have at Town Hall here out on the green. At least we have them almost every Thursday here.
Depending on the weather.
Depending on the weather and depending on if we have a water main break in front of Town Hall. The one we had, when we had the water break in the front of Town Hall, we moved that to the Rec Center Pavilion, and it was still very well attended. And I want to thank all the residents. It's a great thing to do in the summer. It's free. We've got a wide variety of music. You can find the details of that on our website. Fall soccer registration is open until June 1st. The farmers market started on July 6th. That went very well. Got a new traffic pattern for getting in and out of Town Hall during the farmers market. So please try to pay attention to that. We want to thank the Girl Scouts for planting flowers down at the Rec Center and Senior Center. That was a very nice thing that the Daisies did down there. Senior program updates. That is reported by Linda O'Brien. They got a grant to do an art program down there for indigo dyeing. So I guess that was a very successful workshop. The residents and seniors really enjoyed that very much. They have a gardening program down there. Again, we have a lot of stuff going on there. We have one member who's volunteering his time to fix benches and planters down there at the Rec Center and Senior Center. They have water aerobics that begins in July at the town pool for seniors. A lot of programs going down, hearing checks, blood pressure checks, a lot of things going on down at the Senior Center and the Rec Center, not to mention pickleball and mahjong and bridge and just a lot of programs. So people are interested in that, please look it up on the website, also on their Facebook page. And our next meeting will be at the beginning of August. I don't know the exact date, but I could tell you that. It will be determined because we weren't quite sure when it's going to be, but it'll be in the beginning of August. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, economic development, historic preservation, and environmental conservation.
Thank you, Supervisor. Our meeting was changed. It was changed due to the July 4th holiday. So we met we will be meeting next on the first week of August. And the Economic Development Committee meeting, very important for the town of Niskayuna, and we had a wonderful member earlier today of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Kevin Walsh, who is stepping down, and I talked about how important it is to be a team player, and that just like all municipalities, Niskayuna really is a team of people trying to work together, and Kevin really embodied that. First thing you got to do is show up, right? If you can't show up, you can't hit the ball. Kevin showed up. I think he missed maybe 9 out of 290 meetings. I mean, that's like unbelievable. Maybe he missed 5% of his meetings over 2.5 decades of work. But after showing up, you got to give it your all. And Kevin really did that. It was interesting to hear that he was appointed by a Republican supervisor. He is a Republican. He's worked with Democrats in the town of Niskayuna for 25 years, and he's done it very well. And being a team player, he knows how to sacrifice, right? Sometimes you got to lay down a bunt. You got to move the runner over. In the town, sometimes you got to reach across the aisle. You got to sacrifice yourself, reach across the aisle to do what's good for the team, to move proposals around and to get things done. And Kevin really did show that he was able to do that, and that is why the town's in the spot that it is today, a very good spot. And we have another gentleman, David Darpino, who is really in the same mold, and we're very fortunate. I came on board about 12 years ago, and David was here much longer than that, already putting his hand in the community. He was on the Comprehensive Review Board in 2013. So he's helped shape this town for at least the last 10 years, and I'm confident he'll do it for another 10. These are the important people in the town, and I want to emphasize that because our committees do need people. We have several committees that need people, and it's those people that are going to really help move this town forward. Recently, we had a bike-a-palooza, and that went wonderful at the town hall, and it went wonderful because we have great players like Trish Bergami, who put a lot of time and effort into it, and like Tess Healy, who put a lot of time and effort to it, and they were able to make that work. Kids had a great time. They got helmets, and we really do appreciate that. So our next meeting is going to be Friday, August 2nd, and all are welcomed and encouraged. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. All right, we are moving on to resolutions. We'll start with Resolution 2024-151, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into an easement agreement with the owners of 968 Douglas Court.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-152, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the submittal of a grant application through the Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-153, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution appointing an engineering tech 1.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-154, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing a warrant for the first quarter of 2024 corporate utility rents.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-155, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the installation of a water service at River Road Park.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? I'd just like to say that this is part of a larger grant-funded project, thanks to Assemblymember Stick and the state of New York. This is going to help us have our new splash pad at River Road Park, and the work has been incredibly quick. I'd like to thank our Superintendent of Water and Sewer, Matt Yetto, Superintendent of Highway, Ray Smith, and our town planner, Laura Robertson, for working collaboratively to make sure this project moves forward as quickly and efficiently as possible. And again, it's record speed. I think it'll be 12 months from the time we were awarded the funds to the completed project, and that's a testament to the employees' hard work. So I just want to thank you for that. And residents are very excited about this project, and to have another splash pad at River Road Park will be another great improvement. Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-156, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into a dangerous dog contract.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I'd just like to thank Chief for his diligence on this. It was on our agenda, I think, for 2 years, maybe. So thanks for taking care of that.
It was on the agenda when I chaired that committee.
Oh.
It's been very difficult. So good job. Finally, we've
Yep.
got something.
Good teamwork. All right. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-157, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into and execute a retainer agreement.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-158, sponsored by Councilmember De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution accepting an access easement.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution 2024-159, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution hiring a part-time cleaner.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5
the
ayes.
resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-160, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing a contract for a maintenance of generators at the wastewater treatment plant.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-161, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing certain budgetary modifications.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-162, sponsored by Councilmember De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution accepting grant monies for electric landscaping equipment in the town of Niskayuna.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Just want to thank Laura for her work on this and then her work with Ray to get this going, and hopefully we'll have some success with it.
And the next thing you know, we'll be getting plow trucks that are electric. Gave a thumbs up. All right. Seeing no other discussion, will the Seeing no other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-163, sponsored by Councilmember De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution appointing an individual to the Tree Council.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I want to thank our department head for this. I know this is probably a pretty big move, going from gas to electric. A lot of people get very nervous. Are the batteries going to last? Is it going to be powerful enough? And all that good stuff.
Huh.
But this is a good first step in trying to do what we want our residents to do, and that's kind of make a switch to something that's a heck of a lot cleaner and less noisy with a much less impact on our environment. So thank you.
John, we were voting on the Tree Council person?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were on 162.
That's okay.
I know. Did things get a little wonky for you in your packet as well? Yes.
My apologies.
So mine was a little wonky too. And I also was like, hold on, something's amiss.
Well, the Tree Council is another good thing.
Yes, it is. Go ahead, speak on it, brother.
Thank you very much. I believe it's Ms. Bone. Is she here? She is not. Again, very, very important. All these committees are important. We're recognizing Kevin Walsh. There are so many people that have a big hand in shaping this town. The Tree Council is a very important committee. So hopefully we will get the other positions filled. I think we have 4 or 5 split up between our different committees. But thank you, Ms. Bone.
Thank you. All right, seeing no other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-164, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the acceptance of grant monies for the use in the Office of Community Programs.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I just want to thank Schenectady County Arts and Cultural Program for awarding us this grant to us. And again, this is our Thursday night concert, so please come and enjoy.
I'd also like to thank the Schenectady County for just supporting our town with community programming, grants to add crosswalks to our town, and also, County Legislator Michelle Osterlich reached out to me this weekend to ask about, other needs that the county could potentially help with. So again, we have great partners in the county, and I just really appreciate all their help. From the legislators to the county employees, it's a really good partnership. All right, without any other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-165, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution hiring additional employees in the town's Office of Community Programs.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution 2024-166, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the disposition of certain town-owned surplus vehicles and equipment.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-167, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution hiring a seasonal laborer.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. I need to amend this resolution to add an additional seasonal laborer. This will be in the Department of Water and Sewer. The name is Jordan Ronan, same title as seasonal laborer, same hourly rate. And this was discussed at the Water and Sewer Committee meeting and the Finance meeting. Do I have a second for that amendment?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the amendment?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember Partlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes. The amendment passes.
5 ayes.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the amended resolution?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
Resolution passes. Resolution number 2024-168, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution amending resolution number 2022-316.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution 2024-169, sponsored by Councilmember De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution appointing the Chair of the Planning Board and Zoning Commission for the remainder of 2024.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Boy, see, we made him wait till the end. He's got to sit through all
We
kinds of
saved the best for last.
planning board meetings or what? Those planning board meetings are like 3-4 hours long every once
This
a
is
month.
nothing to you.
Are you going to have 290 meetings? You can only miss, how many, Kevin, miss? 9 out of 290? We're going to hold you to that, David. And then if we do this thing, we got
We want to keep him.
I'm sorry.
We want to keep him.
That's a good point.
Leave him alone.
Thank you again, David. This is a wonderful thing because, oh, I wasn't on. Well, that's good. Because you don't want to hear those previous comments weren't any good. This is very good, though. This is as smooth of a transition as we're going to get from one very well-scholared person to another who knows about the community, the people that make the community up, the character that we're striving to continue to be. Mr. Darpino is going to admirably fill those shoes. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, David, for stepping up to this role. I know you've been involved in the town for a while and been on the planning board and the planning commission and the comprehensive plan. So thank you for offering your services. And Kevin Walsh is he will be a tough act to follow, but I have very high hopes that you will be able to fill those shoes and do the job admirably. And thank you again for volunteering for this.
It was a pleasure to get to know you over the past few years. We've communicated via email. In many conversations with Laura, just discussing your qualifications and your interest in serving as chair, I was supportive of her recommendation. And I already received a message from a member saying, we had a great meeting last night. David did great as chair. So I'm very happy that the planning board is in competent hands, and I'm thankful for you that you stepped up. So without any further discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. At this time, that's all we have for the town board meeting. I'll make a motion to move into executive session pursuant to Public Officers Law 1105 subsection F to discuss the medical or employment history. Oh, that's not the right one, is it? Current litigation. And at the end of the executive session, we will not take up any additional town business. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, we are now in executive session. Thank you, everyone.
Out of touch.